Okay, I think we should now be audible now. I'm saying I should be now audible. Alright, so this specific page now allows us to be able to receive payments through withdrawals. So meaning that if I go, the client would normally have to initiate the withdrawal. The way they would do it, say if they went to a Kazan agent and withdraw funds, so that's how you receive payment from this specific page. Another method of receiving payments is normally via what we call a payment link. So there is two kinds of payment links you can send depending on which customer you have and how they want to operate. So this first one is one where you as the business specify the amount you want to receive, and you want to specifically define the reason for the payment, any additional context, and if you want to record the payment on a specific customer in your lightning system. So so it does also allow cash payment, say like if it's not even on a specific data, maybe you are just receiving payment for any of the other reasons, you can receive payments through here, just as you see, same optional. But if you do select the data, it even goes and updates that specific customer's balance to say like, okay, this person has paid out this specific amount. And so that's what this payment link is. It's this first link. Then there is what we call a dynamic payment link, where you can create a QR code for a customer or send a link to a customer that they can be able to make payments either right now or even later on. They can go and scan that QR code to allow them to make payments later. And if you specify your customer here, say if I should go and the customer, let's just say Joe, right? The payment link that this generates is a link specifically for that customer, for Joe, that every time that Joe goes and makes a payment, that Joe opens this payment link, it will allow him to be able to print a statement for this year. It will even allow him to see his account balance, and he can make payments on that same account balance as he's going on. So meaning you can just be able to give this link to your customer and be like, okay, when you are busy when you want to make payments, they can just make a payment on that link, and it will update your lightning system immediately. So meaning that you'll be able to receive payments almost, can I say, completely without any need for that, again, extra interference of having the back and forth of, oh no, I've sent money to your Airtel, can you check now? And then they have to go and check messages, and then only after that can they confirm. So yeah, that's in terms of receiving payments, those are the options that we have so far. So again, there is this, what we call the dynamic payment link, which allows you to send a link to the customer that they can pay, or you can even just send them the QR code. And there is our standard payment link, where you would be the one essentially capturing the payment, and that will allow you to generate a payment link that you can send the customer where they only pay for that specific transaction, can I say. Okay. So that is in terms of receiving payment. Then we've got our expense requests. So this section is actually the money going out now. This is our business now making payments. So as you can see, there is several different kinds of payments depending on what specific type of payment you're making. So there is the standard expense requests. If we now go there, it allows us to specify what's our expense types. Say if I want to make a payment for food or food allowance, for example, maybe the staff needs to request money for food. They can just simply request that funds, and they can put in what is their amount being requested, and an invoice receipt number, the same as it would be in your lightning system. So if there is an invoice or receipt number, you would specify one. Okay. And if they're making a payment to, if this expense is happening on a specific supplier, they would identify the supplier that's being paid to. So in this case, I'm just not going to put any supplier because it's just going to be a very simple expense, just so you guys can understand how it works. So then maybe reason for expense, I'll put in like lunch money. And then from here, it would allow us to specify what kind of account are we paying from. So if I'm doing Airtel, and then the account number would be the phone number that's being used. So you find like with Airtel, it will allow my Airtel number like that. And it also does verify that this is a valid Airtel number. So say if I just try to put in some other number, it won't allow me to submit the request saying that Airtel numbers must be within these parameters. Okay, so let me just put in my number for now. Okay. And it allows us to upload a receipt that basically is proof of expense. So meaning the proof of the payment that I'm about to do. And okay, so I'm using an admin account. We'll go into that as we understand the rules a little bit. But this auto approve request just basically signifies that if I, as a Chrilan Mwape, am allowed to approve funds, I can actually just tell it to auto approve it, that I don't have to go through the process of making the expense request and then later approving it. I can just auto approve it and it immediately sends the money through to that account number. Otherwise, if I am not allowed to approve funds, like as I will show you now in a later example, it will literally, this checkbox isn't there. It will just make a request like I am a normal, say, cashier, for example. It wouldn't show up there. So I'm going to submit the request now. Okay. Okay, cool. So then once it has made the expense request, it sends it through. And you see it actually goes and notifies the managers that the expense requests have been made. If I just update the notifications now, it will show up. I think it is this one. The new requests for manager approval by Chrilan Market. And it will also send a WhatsApp message to our manager. It's just my WhatsApp notification option is off. Yeah, it's off. So it actually does send an expense request to the manager. And when the manager does log in, they'll be able to find the expense request in the incoming expense request. And from there, they'll be able to see what is the total amount that's pending, what's the total amount that's pending, what's the amount that's expected to be paid, am I able to pay for those expenses, how many have I approved today, how many have I declined today. So they'll come up on a list like this to show us, okay, these are the expenses to approve. And we'll be able to basically review them and send out the money to said account. Say like this one, I can just approve it, and it will immediately send the money through to that account, to that person that's requested those funds. And you see it actually shows you a proof of payment there. And even in the WhatsApp notifications, you see it actually does show that that expense request was approved. See, because I'm the one who requested the funds, that's why it actually sent me a notification. But you find that the person who made the request will be the one receiving the notification of who approved, of when it's approved, as well as when the request has been made, that it sends a notification of the request being made. So here your expense request has been approved, and you can even view the proof of payment that will show us the payment proof like that we can then share to the person that needs to confirm that, okay, they have actually received those funds. So yeah, that's basically the process of requesting funds in terms of expenses. So the other function we have is supplier payments. So this is now if you just want to clear supplier balances, as I mentioned earlier. So it is you actually notice that this is the same. It looks actually very similar to the same way we did for the expense payment. The only difference is, like, for example, we don't need to specify the expense type because we already came to supplier payment. So all we need to do is just specify what's the amount, on what invoice number, which supplier are we making the payment to, reason for payment, accounts type, account number, and basically the rest is the same. So even after I go ahead and make that expense request, or I go and record that expense, it will literally go and, once I approve those funds, it will literally go and pay that specific supplier and even update their balance in writing. So let me actually see if I have a supplier now, just to give you a good idea of how that will show up on the supplier's account. So, like, for example, here my supplier's balance is at 5,500. So now, when I go and make my payment, say I want to make a payment of 1 quarter, I apologize for the small figures. I just don't exactly have infinite money in the account. So I have to be okay. So I'll go to the supplier ABCD. Okay, I'll select my supplier. Reason for payment. For this example, I'll just auto approve this request so that we can immediately see the payment. It's okay. That's submitting the payment, and the payment has completed successfully. So now, if I open my Lightning Core and just refresh the supplier account, so you see that's going to reduce the balance. And you also see the payment under the payments list number 30. So we immediately have the payment recorded on our supplier account with the same description that we specified earlier. So that's basically how the supplier payments will work in terms of requesting funds. Okay. So that's how we receive supplier payments. And you can also make payments on GRVs. So when you receive stock from your supplier, you can immediately make payment on that specific GRV as just after you receive that GRV, you can immediately send the money to the supplier through the exact same method. So the only difference is with the GRVs, it expects you to have already received that stock and processed it. So then you put in your GRV number here. So let me just see if that same supplier has any GRVs that they can put the payment on. Okay, that's a fancy GRVs. Okay. Just take my word for it. Okay, let me just show you at least how it would look. We don't actually have to process the payment, but you'll be able to put in your GRV number there, and it will be able to specify, okay, this is the GRV, this is the supplier that was received from, this was the invoice number, what was the purchase order number, who received the GRVs, what's the amounts to be paid, and it will even show you the items that go on the GRV. And from there, you'll be able to again request your funds and make the payment on that GRV. And even in your Lightning system, it will be able to record that your GRV has been made and has been paid for successfully. So it also gives you the proof of payment of everything you need to send to the supplier. So yeah, that's basically how the cash.co.zm works. There is obviously the additional functions like our advanced reporting and also my requests. So just so you can see what's the status on the requests for funds that you have made. You can also be able to see what's the approved expenses, what's the ones that we have declined, what's the reason for the decline. You can even administrators can come and see our advanced reporting dashboard that gives a breakdown on what's all the funds that have been requested and received, and what's the operational versus collected income, what is the net balance based on the money going in and out of the account. And you will be able to see that if you have multiple branches on the system, you will be able to see that either a consolidated report for all your branches or even a specified report for a specific branch. As well as here, you'll be able to see something of a transactions ledger that allows you to see what are all the transactions, the income and expenses, as well as I think you can print out the proof of payment just to see what is the individual payment details. And as well as a snapshot of just what's the performance looking like. And if you scroll a bit to the bottom, you even be able to see a breakdown of what kinds of expenses were the most expensive. So like in this case, you would find that our expenses that were the highest were the transport expenses. But you find like food and other expenses there. You'll be able to see all this in the same application. So if you want to see like what the approvals looking like, again, you can go and see individual transactions from here and even be able to search by who's the one who requested the funds, what's the statuses that were there. You can even see something of a branch performance where it shows you like for all the branches, how are they looking, what's the performance on each one of those branches, and even individual employees and users as to what's the number of requests they've been receiving, what's the decline, what's the approved, what's the declines. You understand? Like just to basically understand how is our store operating. And as well is it also allows you to give a breakdown of all these reports that we have just seen in I think Excel and also PDF format. Yeah, PDF, CSV, Excel. And it will give you basically a PDF snapshot of this specific info we are seeing, an Excel snapshot of this specific info we are seeing, an Excel snapshot of the info that we are seeing here. So you will be able to see everything that's happening in petty cash. You will see it all here. And so far, do we have any questions? Because from this specific platform, this is everything.
One question on the payouts.
Yeah.
I've seen the system is just accepting a valid mobile number.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any screen where at least someone, let's imagine it's a very huge amount, then maybe there was an error in the phone number, but it is the correct phone number. Then that money just gets paid out. Then at the end of the day, of course, we're only seeing the details of the contact after the money has been deployed on the POP. Then at the end of the day, the supplier says, no, I didn't receive my money. Then you only come to realize after viewing the POP, say, no, actually there was an error. The money actually went elsewhere.
Oh, you mean like if they put in an incorrect phone number?
Yeah, the system just accepts because the number is correct, but
valid, yeah, but I get what your question is. Okay, so for that specific aspect, we haven't yet added any phone number verification, can I say, at the moment? So I'm actually looking into how to be able to verify that. Either be using like Airtel's, they have a way to check the person who's linked to that phone number. So at least then from there we'd actually be able to allow it. But as of right now, at least for this first version, there isn't any such number verification. So you normally have to just make sure to verify it before making that payout.
Oh, just like on our side. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Andy, any questions?
No. I'm good.
Okay. So, all right. So that's basically on how we handle money going in and out. So then there is also in the Lightning Core itself, we also added it that you can also be able to make your petty cash requests from Lightning Core. So you'll see like on a customer, I'll just select customer. So on a customer, let's say after 10, for example, I can be able to go and make payments through to that customer from the Lightning system. So there is the standard capturing of payment, which is the manual process that we used to have before, where you just record it as a standard payment. But there is also the receive payment and the payment link options that we also had in our platform here. So like these same options here, you also have them here in your Lightning system if you have the petty cash module activated that allow you to basically create your payment links the same way that you would in the cash.co.za. So meaning you would specify what's your amount that you're paying here, and also the service description, let's say and also the reason there, say invoice ARS. So then I'll then be able to generate my payment link, and from there be able to copy the payment link and proceed to make the payment online. So again, the same way that you would do it from the cash.co.za is the same way that you would also be able to do it from the back office. So meaning using that receive payment patterns, and from here, the client will basically select their payment methods and make the mobile money payment from there. And we immediately allow them to get that proof of payment as soon as the payment has been done. So, and the same thing also does apply to supplier payments and expenses. So meaning if I come to our supplier, I think it was ABCD.
Mark, are you still sharing your screen? Because I can't see a thing. Okay, now I can.
So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, even with supplier payments, we can literally go into our supplier and be able to record our payment on that supplier. So what's the payment amount? What's the account method? So you actually don't need to specify this payment method if you are using the petty cash system. You don't actually need to specify that, but you do need to specify the payment account, payment amount, as well as your invoice number and payment region. Then from there again, it will be what's the account type, what's the account number, and from there you'll be able to make the payment on that supplier. So again, this is the exact. So we try to keep the Lightning side of things. We try to keep it as less disruptive as possible, just so it allows the user not to be too confused as to when they have the petty cash module versus when they don't have it. That's why you find like it's just little buttons that are there in the Lightning system. So that is basically our cash.co.zm in a nutshell. Just what's the kind of payments it allows, how do you do those payments, and what are the reports you're able to get from it. I'm sure you've noticed not a lot of mobile money platforms have got a decent report that you'll be able to go back a year ago and understand what happens. With this one, you are able to fully do that, and as you can see, so much more from there. You can even be able to, based on the payments you made in petty cash on your phone, you'll be able to pull a proper financial statement on your entire business the same way you would be able to do it in Lightning if you were capturing payments as an accountant. You understand? So it literally makes it so much easier that there's a lot less admin, a lot less hassle when you're busy doing your payments and your transactions, just when you're making your payouts and even receiving payments, honestly, from your customers. With how you can just, I've got the customer future distribution, I can make a payment link for future distribution, send them the link, and they can be making payments whenever they need to make payments. You get, so it's, and the fact that it's all within the Lightning Core system means it feeds in as if you went and captured the payment in Lightning Core. That's how it records it. It creates the same that same flow, but easier, essentially. So there is just a few requirements for you to be able to have a cash.co.zm account for your business. The first one being the major one is the fact that you need, it is working on your Kazan account. So the Kazan account you would use for in Lightning to be able to receive payments from the till, it's that same Kazan account that you could be using to integrate with your cash.co.zm. So that is so it would require you to have a Kazan account that you log in upon sign up, and that's how it would be basically handling your transactions. The other requirement is you at least at the moment have to have the Lightning Core module that you then be sending out the expenses and incoming. But obviously in future it will be able to stand alone as on its own, that you can have the cash account without having the Lightning Core module, but obviously that's for external discussions. At the moment it doesn't support that. So meaning your cash.co.zm comes with your Lightning Core module. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Is everyone understanding how cash.co.zm works?
Yeah, I think we are good. This one was simpler.
Okay. Alright. So Eddie Mambo, we understanding, we're okay?
Yeah, well, good. Let's go. Good.
So I'm sure you will see, as I said, this application specifically is actually already been launched for some time, and yeah, it is ready for us to start giving to the clients. So as you have seen, I've actually been busy messing around with it a bit. Somehow gathering an operational spend of 15,000, which to be honest with you, I don't know where that 15,000 is, but at least the report can tell me where to find it. Okay, so yeah. Dominic, do you have anything to add on to the Petty module for the sales team?
No, just thank you to you and your team for creating time to ensure that everyone is understanding the modules that we've developed, so that we are not left behind and just watching screens and not their functionality.
Okay. Oh, there is just another thing. So in the coming days, we are also from the WhatsApp notifications also going to be allowing approvals and declines. I did see earlier, it didn't send me the WhatsApp for approval. Oh, actually it did. So from your WhatsApp message, from the WhatsApp request, you actually will be able to immediately approve the funds. Say, for example, you are able to understand the reason behind the request and immediately approve it. So you can actually approve or decline the funds from here. But if you want to view the request in more detail, again, you just open the platform and you'll be able to accept it. Even with declining requests, you'll be able to just quickly click the decline, and then it will also ask you for a reason as to why you are declining the request. So let me actually see if I can generate a payment, a expense request from my phone, just so that the team can understand how it actually works.
Yeah, then so sorry, just as a side note, as we are doing this for sales, your team and you, I hope we put a comprehensive training together that will enable the technicians too, because I've deliberately put them aside because those who need a more technical and daily thing, because they're encountering the challenges as we are going, and also for them they'll need to understand all these at once because they don't have the luxury of choosing what to teach a customer piece by piece. They have to understand everything from the code to the lodging to this. Like a customer has to understand everything from the go. That is why I've been leaving them aside. Not that they don't need training. They will need a training in person for them. I think the only person who will be online will be Elias. So and I hope the team is prepping that, like beta modules where like even things are already working, not just. So for those who be like on a Saturday, if it's troubleshooting, it will be troubleshooting and done, because those guys, once they glitch there, then we're having issues with the customer.
Okay. So like with this one, as I've said, it's actually ready for the team already. So
Yeah, no, I'm just saying the team
just
should be ready
that's time for the
for that one day training. Hopefully, if it's possible, even this Saturday. Mm. You want to say something? Or Chilu wants to say something.
Maki, with the text, I know you're doing teaching with this one, but with the text, if you can do an interactive session, we need to see how we can break it so that we know we may have skipped something. The same way you've seen how the text while they're on site and they're discovering things. So let's have a workshop where we try to break everything and see. We need to make sure all our backs are covered. That while even Mambo and team are marketing this, it's foolproof because of this the update thing that takes a day. It's not as fast as we are used to. So if we can try to break it with the technicians, well and good.
All right, that's all from my side.
So thank you everybody. Please like, comment, subscribe. We're actually live on YouTube at the moment.
Chitani like, Chitani follow.
You try to visit our YouTube channel. You find the screen there.
All right, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Right, cheers. Good night.